Part of the 3 months and thereabout being requested by the so-called Injustice James Omotosho over delivering the judgment on the case of Nnamdi Kanu, which they stretched to until October 10th this year. You know, some people were kind of thinking that, this trial have concluded, or rather, the Nigerian governments have closed their case against Nnamdi Kanu. But beyond that, the 3 months requested is not for them. They are not going on any vacation, but rather to be going from country to country, from house to house, from office to office, in consultation what next step to take on the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Because according to them, or according to the information reaching me here now, the so-called Injustice James Omotosho want to abandon case of Nnamdi Kanu, citing that why external body have to rule in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. In other words, they want to throw Nnamdi Kanu back to dungeon because of the ruling by Kenya High Court. I have said this in before. Let me also repeat myself. Nigerian government just want to give Nnamdi Kanu a bad name. Rather, each time they want to kill a dog, they will give that dog a bad name just to buy that dog. That is the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu had been freed by everything necessary, both to human being, God, and the court. But the power that be says Nehikaba. I don't know what I will say now. Some people will come now and say I am damping their spirit, but I am not here to sugarcoat anything to you. Whatever I said, whatever that proceed from my mouth, my brother, that is the way it is. IPOB don't come out now, come issue a statement over the regard. I saw it very clearly and I cried and said, look at what these people are planning. The video I published, the last video I published, I made mention of that. When I was reading the case of when when Finland said Simon Ekpa had been cleared of any charges, including possession of firearms, which is the last petition Ogetukun submitted. I made it clear. When somebody was a kind of asking, they thought that this case have ended. I said, yes, for public appearance, for public notice, it has ended. But what about some secret trials that is going on that you are not aware of? What about the other secret negotiations? So the issue there now is that IPOB wants Justice Omotosho not to suspend Nnamdi Kanu's trial due to the ruling of Kenyan courts. So they want to capitalize on that Kenyan court now to just suspend Nnamdi Kanu or adjourn Nnamdi Kanu case indefinitely. That means until God knows when. Just like what Injustice Binta Yako did that time when Nnamdi Kanu challenged her at the High Court to recuse herself from the case, citing irregularities and a compromise. So, what do you want me to say now? Do you want me to tell you now, Nnamdi Kanu is going to last there forever, or Nnamdi Kanu is coming out soon? My brother, what Mara Jesus said is exactly what is going to happen on the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is going to be free. Nnamdi Kanu is going to be out of DSS dungeon, not by legal, not by negotiation, but by force. This is what Mara Jesus said on one of the videos I published, I think inside this week or last week. So it's beginning to play. It's beginning to play. They are having secret meeting now to abandon Nnamdi Kanu because of the ruling of Kenya court. That Kenya of yesterday, why must Kenya be the one to tell them what to do, and that they decide that Nnamdi Kanu was illegally renditioned and illegally detained? So that is where the whole thing is going now. Don't be surprised. On the 10th of November, 10th of October, when everybody is looking forward for Nnamdi Kanu's freedom, just like we look on the 18th of this month, July, and Nnamdi Kanu is going to be free, another story come. So what is going to happen is not a prediction, it's not a prophecy, but based on my own calculation, on 10th of November, they will say I join the case, either December or January 2026. Not my prayer, not my wish, but according to the calculation on how they are playing this game, that is what is going to happen. And mind you, any case that they are putting on December, automatically is going to be January, because within that period there will be a series of vacations, holidays, meetings upon meetings, and so on and so forth. Anyway, let us read the news according to what they wrote here. But I just tell you the headline of this message, so that you don't begin to backlash me on a comment section. Let us read for reading's sake. Please, if you get this message, help me like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing for more interesting videos coming your way. The indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has cautioned that the recent judgment by the Kenyan High Court, which ruled the abduction and extraordinary rendition of its leader, Nnamdi Kanu, as illegal and unconstitutional, must not be used as a legal basis to halt his ongoing trial in Nigeria. In a statement signed by Barrister Onyedikachi on behalf of the IPOB, the group acknowledged that the judgment of the courts in Kenya, but emphasized that the Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja is constitutionally barred from acting contrary to the Supreme Court of Nigeria's ruling on the said matter. While we acknowledge and commend the Kenyan judiciary for upholding the rule of law and condemning the illegal actions that led to our leaders' abduction and torture, we find it necessary to clarify a fundamental constitutional limitation under Nigeria's legal system framework, the statement read. Citing Section 28, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution, IPOB stressed that all subordinate courts are required to comply with the decision of the Supreme Court. The decision of the Supreme Court shall be enforced in any part of the Federation by all authorities and persons, and by courts with subordinate jurisdiction to that of the Supreme Court. IPOB quoted the Constitution as stating. The group noted that the Supreme Court had remitted the matter to the lower court for trial, despite acknowledging that Kanu was subjected to what is termed as criminal abduction and unlawful rendition. According to IPOB, Injustice James Omotosho is duty-bound to abide by that judgment, regardless of its controversies or flaws. No trial court, regardless of circumstances, is permitted to override, ignore, or set aside a Supreme Court judgment, IPOB said. His Lordship, Justice James Omotosho, may take judicial notice of errors, and there were significant errors in the late judgment, but it cannot act upon them unless and until the Apex Court overrules itself. The group referenced Rosak V, ACB Limited, 1993, 8 NWLR, Part 312382, which held that the lower courts must obey Supreme Court pronouncement, no matter how manifestly bad or perverse they may appear. IPOB accused the Supreme Court of ignoring critical safeguards that should have voided Kanu's trial. These include Section 15 of the Nigeria's Extradition Act, which prohibits prosecution for offenses outside the terms of extradition. The president, in Gabriel Eze versus the state of 2004, which mandates the consent of the surrendering state, Kenya in this case, for any new charges. Violations of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, especially Articles 5, 6, and 7, prohibiting torture, unlawful detention, and denial of fair trial. Breaches of the International Convent on Civil and Political Rights, to which Nigeria is a party, including Articles 7, 9, 13, and 14. Why Supreme Court ignored these foundational principles is a mystery to many, IPOB said, adding that strong legal arguments exist that the judgment was given per incuriam without reference to relevant legal principles or statutes. Okay, the group argued The ruling of the Kenyan court was significant. It carries no binding authority in Nigerian courts unless domesticated through treaty ratification under Section 12 of the Constitution. Although the Kenyan High Court has rightly exposed the illegality of the abduction, its decision has no automatic legal effect within the Nigerian judicial system, IPOB stated. IPOB retreated its stance that the Federal High Court in Abuja is not the proper venue to challenge the Supreme Court's ruling, and that any effort to have the trial must proceed through appellate channels, either within Nigeria or at the international judicial forums. We caution the Nigerian judicial and the executive against using the procedural posture of the case as a smokescreen to legitimize an unlawful process that contravenes not only Nigerian municipal laws but also binding international legal obligations, IPOB stressed. Nnamdi Kanu's continued trial is a trial of the rule of law itself. The group called on the international community, the African Union, and the human rights bodies to take notice and pressure Nigerian authorities to comply with the international legal standards. Moving forward. Human rights organization petitioned who? Please, hold on. Okay, human rights organizations petitioned Soludo to dissolve a lawless vigilante group due to accusations of cross-border killings and abductions. The Anambra State Governor Chukwumacha Soludo has been ordered to carry out the immediate disbandment and persecution of members of a vigilante group operating from Ndike Oku Uli in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Human rights group, the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law Inter-Society, petitioned the state government citing a spate of alleged cross-border killings, abductions, and extortion targeting residents of the neighboring IPOB community in Oguta local government area of Imo State. In the petition dated July 25 of 2025 and addressed to the Anambra State Commissioner of Police, CP Ike Oye Orutugo, and the Special Advisor to the Governor on Community Security, Prince Ken Emakai, Inter-Society warned a looming inter-communal crisis. The urgency of our letter is sequel to the fact that members of the victim community, IPOB Autonomous Community in Oguta, Imo State, are furiously running out of patience, having endured and lived with such unprovoked attacks and humiliations since 2022. The rights group stated in a statement issued on Monday and signed by its board chairman, Emeka Ume Abalasi, and others. The group listed at least 10 IPOB indigents allegedly murdered by the Uli Central Vigilante Group since 2022, including Chijioke Mbobu, Sunday Onyebuchi, and Happiness Okorie. According to Inter-Society, Mbobu was killed in March of 2023. Onyebuchi was killed in September of 2022. Okorie was killed in June of 2023. Livinus Moore was killed in May of 2023. Ikechi Obiejemba was killed in October 2023. Uchenna Ahizi was killed in December 2022. Stainless Ogunji was killed in September of 2023. Onyebuchi Okorie was killed in February 2024. Chidi Ohanyele was killed on January 5 of 2024. And Mute was killed on February 1st of 2025. It also accused the vigilantes of holding citizens for ransom, often under the pretext of fighting for the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, or Eastern Security Network, ESN. Inter-Society also called for the sealing of a Vigilantes group comes an immediate release of all unlawful detained persons, warning that continued inaction could provoke violent retaliation from the affected communities. The group stated, cases of abductions by the deadly outfit have also hit enge community. Likewise, collection of millions of naira as bail fees from their close friends and relatives, and their release are permanent disappearance thereafter. For instance, citizen Achozu Odembe was abducted on July 29 of 2024 at about 3 p.m. and held illegally for more than 3 weeks until his friend and relatives secured his release after paying the vigilante assailants 2 million naira. Furthermore, Kosarachi Onhajuba was abducted since June of 2025 and has not been freed till date. And as if that was not enough, the killer outfit went ahead to place 2 million naira ransom or bail free on his head as condition for setting him free. Cases also are abound showing that even after paying the ransom or bail fees, such victims are never returned to their families alive. Enter Society noted that the petition titled calling for thorough investigation, arrest and prosecution of leaders and other operatives of the Ule Central Vigilante Group and dismantlement of the killer outfit for incidentally crossing boundaries and invading Enge community in Oguta, Imo State has been acknowledged by the governor's aides, Prince MNK. The last but not the least, Femi Falana criticizes the naming of a Charlie Boy bus stop to Olamide Badu. The bigotry is getting to another level. Do I blame them? No. Why should I blame them? I should blame my people who don't want to think about home. Falana criticizes the renaming of Charlie Boy bus stop street in Lagos, declaring it illegal. Human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, Femi Falana, has condemned the recent renaming of streets and bus stops in Lagos State, citing a lack of adherence to constitutional procedures and public consultations. He described the action as illegal, authoritarian, and violation of the constitutional powers vested in local governments. Falana made this known in a statement, citing recent examples as the renaming of Charlie Boy bus stop to Badu bus stop by the former chairman of Barega Local Government Development Area, Kolade Alabi, as well as the naming of 2 streets after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He also referenced the report naming of 2 streets by billionaire industrialist Aliko Dangote in honor of his late friend Herbert Wigwe and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu allegedly carried out without proper statutory approval. Falana emphasized that under the 1999 Constitution as amended, the exclusive authority to name streets, roads, and assign house numbers rests within the local government councils, as clearly outlined in the 4th schedule. He cited a relevant court ruling in Chief Ubidi Ume versus Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, where the High Court held that only the Abuja Municipal Area Council had the legal authority to name roads and streets within its jurisdictions. The usurpation of the exclusive functions of local government on street naming by certain individuals and local council development areas in Lagos State cannot be justified under the Nigerian Constitution, Falana stated. He specifically criticized the renaming of the Charlie Boy bus stop, a historically significant location named by the people of Barega and Bagada without community consultations. Falana described the action as disrespectful to both local residents and the cultural memory. Charlie Boy bus stop acquired its name sociologically due to its functionality and the positive impact which Charlie Boy has historically made in the area, he noted. Renaming it without consulting the Bariga and Bagada peoples marks of authoritarianism. Falana lamented that Lagos State had retained street names celebrating colonial figures linked to oppressions and exploitations, yet finds time to replace names that honor Nigerians who contributed positively to the society. He called on local government legislative arms across Lagos to stop the arbitrary renaming of public spaces and instead institutionalize public hearings and legal processes before any such decisions are made. Streets should not be renamed arbitrarily to please the whims and caprices of political leaders or to promote ethnic chauvinism, especially in the cosmopolitan capital city like Lagos, the respected legal practitioner added. He called for due process and democratic engagement, warning that unilateral renaming undermines the community identity and violates constitutional principles. So, my good people, and I don't hear everything from beginning to the end, and you will not want me to explain anything more again, because this one is very, very clear to layman's understanding, and it is as white as snow. So I want to use the opportunity to say I'm sorry for wherever I have made a gaffe on reading these things, because what will I call it? As a stammerer, sometimes when you want to pronounce some words, it will come choke you. But to God be the glory, we made it. So have a nice day. Please, as you watch, kindly drop your opinion at the comment section. Like, share, comment, and keep subscribing for more interesting videos coming your way. Have a nice day. ङENYÀ.